Hey fellas, how you doing? In this video I want to speak about something that's probably the most difficult thing I think for everyone to do and achieve, and it's definitely been the most difficult thing for me, but it's just the most relieving thing. I'm going to talk about forgiveness, and I'm going to relate forgiveness with social anxiety and anxieties and fears, because I think every single one of us has got things that have happened to us in the past, things that make us feel secretly ashamed, secretly guilty, secretly angry, frustrated, jealous, all the negative emotions that affect our lives and stop us from achieving our dreams. So this week it's been coming up for me. I meditate on different things, different weeks, according to what I'm teaching and what I'm learning myself. And I had a session today with my mentor. We talked over things, and I always say to him, this lesson, this is what came out for me, the main thing, all the things we've spoken about, they went back to one thing, forgiveness. And this is obviously what I help people with when I teach. So I want to tell you about something that was haunting me for years, and it actually just came out today, and I realised this is one of the people that I forgive. This is one of the people that used to bully me when I was younger. So I'm going to tell you about the story, the old story. It's a true story. It's weird, when I say sometimes I'm going to tell you about a story, it almost sounds like it's a made up story, but it isn't a made up story, because maybe it's in my psychology, we often think when someone says I'm going to tell you a story, at least that's how I associate it, it's like a fantasy, but this is a true story. This is what I went through for years, and I never realised it was probably affecting me 10 years later. And this also aligns with forgiving my dad. This has been a continuous process. So I'm going to tell you about a guy that used to bully me for years, and I was so scared of this guy. His name was David, I won't say his surname. So I think the bullying started when I was about 13, 14, 12, 13, 14, something like that, up until maybe 15, 16. So I lived in an estate, a council estate, with my family, and my nan also lived on an estate which was just opposite my estate. They were about a 5 or 10 minute walk, but they were different names, so they were considered separate estates. Sometimes the two estates would be rivals. So I was from this estate and there was another estate, but obviously because my nan lived on the other estate, I'd go there a lot. My family was always at my nan's, and my nan's area was so exciting. They called it the front and the back. So where the blocks were, there was a football pitch where all the kids played football, and then there was a back entrance where there was just grass, blocks and a canal. So it's exciting to talk about this, it brings back memories. It was an exciting time obviously to live. It was the sort of pinnacle of being a young boy, and I just remember that this guy just wouldn't stop bullying me. I don't know why, for whatever reason, probably because I was quiet and shy. And I remember being so scared of him. And it's interesting because he was smaller than me in stature. He was smaller than me, but he terrified me. And on so many occasions he did things to me. One of the things I remember he did to me that just made me so angry, he put a knife to my neck. He got a knife out, put a knife to me, and just the intimidation, what he used to do to me. He never actually put his hands on me, used to hit me, but it was the intimidation. He was taunt me and call me names. And I remember I told my mum, I told my nan had a go at him. That's my nan, and she's seen him, she shouted at him, said don't ever come near my nephew. Someone around the area, another guy, once seen him bullying me and grabbed him, but he just didn't stop bullying me. And it's so difficult when you're a kid, it feels so personal. It used to make me feel, it's a weird feeling, but it's mad. It makes you feel raped. Obviously he didn't do anything to me sexually, but it made me feel raped. It made me feel disgusted. It made me feel rejected. It made me feel angry. It made me feel disabled. It made me feel sick. It made me feel ashamed. And yeah, and it's interesting at the time, because at that time, that was the sort of age when I was, getting bullied by my dad, so I had a lot of anger in me. My dad was always actually bullying me and also teaching me how to not let other people bully me. So I'm surprised that I didn't stand up to this guy David quicker. I let it go on for a long time, and it's almost like in my mind I built him up to be this monster who's unbeatable. And I remember it got to a point where I couldn't go out and play football. And the amazing thing about the area was We had all these different gangs, different colours, different ages, and different sort of tribes. But when we'd play football, everyone would sort of get together. Does that make sense? So people were fighting with each other, gangs, rivalry. But for those few hours, and it's quite nice this, isn't it? Everyone would get together and there'd be no trouble. But after the match would finish and it sort of separated, fights would break out. So sometimes I could go and play football the area, he'd be there, he wouldn't do anything because there'd be so many people, there was so much going on, the energy, he wouldn't really be able to focus on me. But when it died down, when I was by myself, if I wanted to go to the shop, and for me the local shop meant everything when you're a kid, because they sold penny sweets. I don't know if you remember them, any of you watching this video, the newsagent, the Indian newsagents always sold penny sweets, and I loved penny sweets. My nan would give me money, or my mum. But I remember as I was on my way to going over there, because he lived in the same block as my nan on the ground floor, I'd be looking around, easy around, my heart, I was sick with fear, worrying that he'd be outside. Sometimes I'd have to run, or a friend would say, he's out the back, he's there, go that way, go. And I look back and I just think, it was just an illusion in the sense that yes, he was bullying me. So anyway, what he did to me affected me socially, along with how my dad was. So he made me feel afraid to look at people in the eye. He was one of the people amongst many others, including my dad. So I've kind of gave you the idea, and I don't know if I can explain to you emotionally how scared I was of this man, or this kid, who was a bit older than me, about a year older, and he was wild, you know, and stealing and one of the bad boys, but he was quiet as well when I look back. So anyway, listen to this. Years later, when I'd grown up, I didn't really see him, or I'd see him sometimes, but I'd pretend I didn't see him. I'd gotten older by then, so I was in my 20s, and I'd taken up the boxing. I think I've told you guys about this before. So in my deep subconscious mind, you never really forget the bullies who bullied you. So I remembered him, and I remember thinking one day, and actually, sorry, I forgot to tell you guys this. Actually, we did have a fight. I went to this local club, but I can't remember if I was about 15 at this time, 15 or 14, maybe, I can't remember, 15 or 14, and he actually did physically attack me on this day, and I lost my temper, and I fought him, and he got the better of me, but it got broken up, and I had a torturous day this day. Someone else had tried to bully me, and he got the better of me, and I felt humiliated, and there was lots of people, and there was a guy there, I remember, there was a man who was a youth worker, and he made fun of me at the time, because I had a very lazy eye. My eye used to be like this, they used to call me boss-eyed, so people would take the mick out of my eyes. I forgot about that. So after that, even though he got the better of me, I think he respected me more, because I fought him and I hit him back, but he grabbed me, and I can't remember what he did, but you know, it was seen, and he won the fight. That made me feel awful, but at least it kept away. But years later, obviously I took up boxing, and I got a lot stronger, I developed strength, and after getting bullied by David, and it's not comfortable for me to admit, but I went on to be a bully myself. Whenever I got trouble, I started to knock people out, and a lot of it was repressed anger from my dad, from this guy David, from other people, and just being oppressed, being bullied. But anyway, years later I got really strong, and obviously I developed myself more, got more confidence. I was, you know, still shy, but I found myself more through going down the gym, doing lots of sparring. After you've been down to a South London gym, Fitzroy Lodge was a gym in South London, and I'd also trained in West London All Stars. Don't get me wrong, I still got scared of being bullied or street fighting, but you're never as scared as you used to be, because I did so much sparring in the ring, and it is fighting. Sometimes boxing is worse than a street fight, because a street fight, as long as there's no knives involved, it can be over in a few minutes. You have a punch up, it gets stopped, and that's it, or you knock someone out. But with boxing, it's skilled. You're fighting someone who knows how to move, how to cover up. It's quite frightening, and it feels like there's more ego on the line. You've got to go back to the gym, you see the people again. So I can't explain it, but maybe if you've done fighting, you'd understand. So I remember, yeah, we'd been reacquainted, and at this particular time, I'm not going to mention names, I was hanging around with some of the toughest guys around my area, so I felt like I'd got my respect back, and they were friends of him. So when he'd re-met me after all these years, I could just see it. He was scared of me. I could feel it. He was afraid of me. He respected me, and I just forgive him. I didn't feel, honestly, I thought about it, but I didn't feel any anger, and I could have easily abused my power because I grew to be a lot bigger than him, physically stronger from all the boxing, and he knew it. I could just sense it. So I naturally forgave him for what he did to me, and I shook his hand. We didn't mention it, but it was unconsciously I've forgiven him, and we spoke and we spent the day. And I really mean this. I felt sorry for him, and I don't like people feeling sorry for me, but I just felt for him because he came from, like myself, he came from a broken home pretty much. Not saying my home is a broken home, but you know, rough, strict father. I had a good upbringing as well, I can't deny that. But he didn't, he had a broken home, and it sounds a bit cheesy to say this, but he wanted friendship with me, I could tell that. Probably got bullied himself, he did get bullied. He got beaten up, I think his brothers bullied him, so he just took it out on me. I was the nearest target, it wasn't personal. So it's just nice to be able to forgive him. I didn't have to do it with violence. And I've seen him previously, and I just feel bad. I feel bad for both of us. So I've forgiven that guy. And you know, whether he did this, he didn't obviously do this consciously, but he taught me public speaking. That man gave me confidence. Of course I forgive him. God, I couldn't do it without the help of something a lot more righteous than myself, because I'm too selfish, and I'm too much. I'm a man, I'm human, I'm vulnerable. So that's been a process, that's been over years. Same with my dad, it's been a process. So what has forgiveness taught me? Forgiveness, it's hard to explain. Forgiveness helps you love yourself. Forgiveness helps you to love other people. And of course, this is what, of course, have been shown by God. I was angry at him for years for bullying me, but I bullied other people. So I just get to see what I've done to people. So I couldn't be angry at him no more. And I can't even be, even though sometimes it's difficult, I can't even be angry at my dad, because I was cruel to a lot of people. There's no getting away from it. There's no getting away from it. Many times I abused my physical power when I didn't have to. A person upset me in a nightclub, or they said something, I could have just ignored it, and I knew that I was physically stronger, and I knocked him out. I knocked him out to impress people and to get validation and to try and seek some kind of love, and that's certainly not the way to do it. So forgiveness has shown me that everyone makes mistakes. So easy for us to do it, and we often do it. I do it myself. We judge people, say, look how horrible that person is, look what he's doing. But we've done all those things. Everyone I know at some stage has done some form of bullying, whether it's physical or psychological. So it really humbled me. It made me realise how precious life is, how lucky I am. And like I said, it's holding hate for people, it does nothing for your spirit. It doesn't give you confidence, and it actually, that anger that I had towards him, my dad and many other people, that ruined my relationships with women that I loved, that I could have been married to years ago. I won't go into every single name, but my relationships were suffering at a cost of me holding anger for things that happened to me years ago that I was not able to let go of and forgive, because I was blaming myself. I was telling myself in my inner monologue, and all these voices coming up saying, I'm a coward, I should have done this, I should have done that. But you can't regret life, you can't go back. Sometimes you do the best of what you have. I was 14, 15 years of age, and I'm lucky to be alive, because there are lots of bullies around my area who got killed. People that got shot in the head and killed, cold blank dead, in prison. So I'm very lucky to be alive, very lucky to be doing a job like this and to have the life I have. And it's so easy sometimes. I've done it myself many occasions, get depressed, think I'm a victim. How could this happen to me? I'm a good person. I am a good person, but I was a bad person in the past as well. And I excused it by saying, well, my dad bullied me, so I'm going to justify knocking this guy out. But this guy, I don't know, this guy could be a saint. This guy doesn't know that my dad bullied me, or this guy, David, bullied me, or this person. And there were girls in school that bullied me as well, believe it or not. There was a girl, I'm going to forgive her right now. This is the spiritual exercise. There was, I won't mention her name, but she was horrible to me. She was, I'm not joking, you guys, and if you're women watching, men were frightened of her in secondary school. She was violent, she was strong, and I'm not joking. At this time I could have a fight. I was 15, 16, but I wasn't sure if I could beat her. She might humiliate me because she could really fight, and she tore the shit out of men and women. And she was only slim, but she was really aggressive, and she bullied me, and I stood up to her one day in school, and I can't remember what I said, but I didn't hit her, but I said something, and I was terrified when I said it, and she never bothered me again. So the forgiveness also shows me that there are ways we can, doesn't mean when I say forgiveness and love, which is very important, it doesn't mean that we let people walk all over us and we keep letting them do it. No, we have to lay our personal boundaries down, but certainly not with violence, because violence never seems to solve problems. It seems to solve it in the moment, and then it haunts you for the rest of your life. So I've forgiven her easily. If I was to see her now and I really mean this, I'd walk up to her, I'd give her a hug, give her a kiss. I'll do the same to David, but I wouldn't kiss him on the lips, obviously, because I'm straight. So I've forgiven him. I can just feel it. And you know when you've forgiven someone, because you're able to speak about it easily, and your pain body doesn't come out, your tonality. Because before I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't talk about my dad without my voice raising, my face changing. So I've forgiven these people, and it's just done me the world of good. And this would not be possible without support of students, people I teach, mentors, and people that have made loads of mistakes and turned their life around. And just to quote someone, lots of Jesus's teachings that we often hear, repeat, say it because it sounds poetic, but to actually put into practice takes massive amounts of courage. There's nothing cowardly about it. So forgiving these people that bullied me enables me to forgive them and forgive myself, and to hope that obviously people that I've hurt are okay, and I hope I haven't scarred them. Because yeah, I just done some horrific things when I wasn't in my, you know, I wasn't myself. It was years ago. I've done lots of stuff like that. So the forgiveness really allows you to move on. And it's weird because you realise that those lessons were unkind lessons, that they benefited me in the future. Those people that have bullied me, my dad included, have helped me to make more money, have helped me to help more people, gave me confidence to go and speak. Because I remember when David used to bully me, I used to be affected by it for weeks. I couldn't even have a conversation. I could physically feel like my confidence was just ripped out of me. As I said, I felt raped of everything. My innocence, I doubted myself, I felt like a victim. Typical feeling of being abused, but now I don't feel like that. Now I feel like I've healed. I feel different. It's a completely different feeling. But forgiveness, you can't fluke forgiveness. You can't pretend to forgive. It's emotional, it's spiritual, and you have to want to do it. So when I teach people, I always say, if someone has hurt them or abused them, or this guy bullied me at school, or this person stole from me, I'll say, I understand it's wrong what they did, but for your sake, I think it would be wise to work towards forgiving this person through a gradual process. And sometimes forgiving people doesn't mean directly going up and saying I forgive you and telling them. It means going off and doing something that you're afraid of. I know it sounds mad, does that make sense? So you might have to go and do public speaking to forgive one of your parents that hurt you, or your friend or your sister, because in doing that public speaking, there might be fear to go and do public speaking. You might feel socially judged, there might be shame. When you go and do that, you'll feel great after. You build on confidence, you build on psychological reference, and then you can use that good emotion, put that good emotion in your body, and allow you to process and wash or clean, or help you to get negative emotions out, and to actually say thank you to the bullies. Of course, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be Johnny Berba. I wouldn't be teaching this. My mentor reminded me that today, because I forget sometimes. I wouldn't be here doing this. I don't know who I'd be or what I'd be doing, and I wouldn't change what I'm doing for the world, because I love my job, I love teaching, and I wouldn't have, I don't think I'd be as socially confident as I am, because I wouldn't have worked, you know, exaggerated amount of hours to build up to this level of self-esteem. So I hope that's going to help you to find forgiveness for whoever's done something bad, and also to forgive yourself if you've done bad things. So sometimes, I've done this before, if you have done something bad to someone and you have got the chance to go out and just to shake their hand, it takes a real man to do this, or a woman, and just say, I'm really sorry for what I did, it was wrong, it was years ago, I feel ashamed about it, and I want to make peace with you. And even if you don't forgive me, I want to apologise, I was wrong. You will feel, I'm telling you, you feel the world of good. I've just got an intuitive feeling now as I'm doing this video, if you're a man or woman watching this one act of forgiveness literally could transform your life in every area. So things like finances struggling, or struggling to love yourself, or to fall in love, or struggling to trust people, it's probably likely that is attached to somewhere where you haven't forgiven someone, which is always about forgiving yourself. So enjoy the process. It's definitely all about love. It always comes back to love. Love is a process, and it's a continuous process. In some sense, it's a destination. If you think about what Tolly's saying, if you're present and you cultivate the love in yourself. But I'm sort of talking about a lesser love, in the sense of, you know, working through fears and anger and all the rest of it. But you will know when you've forgiven someone, because you'll be able to speak about that person and you won't feel bad emotion. And if you do speak about someone that has upset you and you feel bad emotion, don't beat yourself up. That's just a sign that there's more forgiveness to work through. But it will liberate you. It will bring you on to better things, and it will definitely overcome your social anxiety, and it will just bring so much more love into you and other people. And I had no choice, I had to do it, and it will stop all your depression. So I hope that helps. And if you want to learn more, you want to read more about how to overcome social anxiety, build confidence, a lot of the stuff I talk about in the videos, how to find more love in yourself, go to my website www.johnnyberba.com. I'm always updating my website with new blogs, new material. I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye, enjoy the process.